Hello, everybody, and welcome to our commentary of Disney's The Small One. Basically, everybody, since this featurette, little 25-minute featurette, always gets packed in DVDs with Christmas Carol, Mickey's Christmas Carol, which was Taylor's pick last year, I figured why not? Since it's the pack-in short. This is the people talk about the Mickey's Christmas Carol way too much. It's time for the small one to finally get its dues.
Watch this be one of our most least viewed videos.
To be honest, I'm actually very curious about this one. I always heard about it, being Don Bluth and all, but I actually never saw it properly.
Okay, you all heard the stories of Don Bluth and his team, like Gary Goldman, his right-hand man, leaving Disney because they were unsatisfied with what the studio was doing at the time. But that begs the question, though. What exactly did Don Bluth and his team do while they were at Disney? Enter this. Basically, everybody, back in the 1970s, Disney had this habit of re-releasing their older films in theaters so they could make some more extra money off of them. One of them was Pinocchio, and Don Bluth was allowed to make a little featurette to accompany the theatrical re-release of Pinocchio. And that's where the small one comes in. For those who are not familiar with the small one, you might be wondering, why am I picking this as my Christmas pick? Well, the reason why will become clear by the time this ends.
Oh, yes, it will.
Alright, so basically, for those who don't know, unfortunately this hasn't been released on Disney Plus yet, however it's available on 2 specific DVD Christmas compilations by Disney. And basically, just search for a DVD that has Christmas Carol, and this will always come packed with it. It's always the side dish to Christmas Carol, so that's why it gets overshadowed constantly, because it never got its own individual release. It's always a packed in with Christmas Carol. But whatever. Alright, let's check out Don Bluth's first major work, the small one. But it started at 0 right before the
Buena Vista logo.
Yeah, started at 0 in the black screen right before the Buena Vista logo. So 3, 2, 1.
I have to say, out of all the Disney shorts that come before movies, my favorite to this day is still Prince and the Pauper.
Also, hang on, we need to do this right, considering the era we live in now. Hail Disney! There, done.
What?
Who's doing this song?
The credits are going to tell us, so wait on a bit.
Okay.
Well, Pedro, since everything's being bought by them now, eventually that's what we're going to have to be doing.
I don't know any of those voice actors, so...
I pledge allegiance to the mouse.
Don't drown.
Now leave us alone.
Nah.
I love this song, by the way.
You know, it's sad is that Disney are still the lesser of two evils between them and Comcast.
When it came to buying Fox, you mean?
Well, Comcast own a lot of stuff in the UK, so I feel sorry for you guys.
I love this part of the song in particular, right after it moves to the next picture.
And for a second I thought that was a...
Oh, there's a guy whose name is literally Ron Husband.
For a second there I thought that was a deleted scene from the Jungle Book.
Hmm.
The kid does look like Mowgli Donnie.
So yeah, as you can see, this is the story of a little kid and his donkey friend. Anyway, assistant director Richard Rich, aka the creator of Swan Princess.
And Alpha and Omega, I think.
Yeah.
Well,
actually, he didn't. He didn't necessarily.
The opening song was done by Don Bluth himself.
He didn't necessarily create it.
Knew he could do
He just
that,
ran the Tio.
Yeah.
He didn't technically create that one. He just ran the studio that made it.
Well,
Okay.
Not even
that's the
that. Not even that. He was the one who was in charge of the sequels, not the actual original one. The original Alpha and Omega was more like an indie. It was sort of like an indie project.
An independent film, yeah. Well, that's the thing. From what I've been able to understand, apparently they didn't hire any songwriters because they wanted to waste to use all the money on the animation itself, because they thought that they could make the songs themselves regardless. I will say that the songs are the opening song is fine. The songs in general are just fine enough. They're not amazing or anything, but they're fine. They work. I do really love the opening song though. That's the one that I think is genuinely great.
You literally called him Small One. Boy, he's bigger than you.
It's because he's smaller than the other donkeys, as you can see.
Yeah, I know. It's just what a weird name to give a donkey.
Well, he's small, so the small one.
Well, Joker is more creative than calling him Donkey.
The kid gives things very descriptive names. Joba. He's small, therefore he's the small one.
I mean, what next? Is he going to say, "Oh, you're made of gold. I'll call you the golden one"?
If I recall correctly, this is actually my first Don Bluth commentary, being all the others have been done by you, only you so far. So, I have a history with him. I watched most of his stuff, but the one thing that particularly fascinates me about his animation is that, despite being hand-drawn, obviously, a lot of the human movements in some scene look, not in this particular case, but a lot of times they look as if they're rotoscoped. I don't know if it was intentional or not.
Well, from what I've seen of the 2D films, Disney, I mean, no matter who the director is, the animation tends to look rather similar.
That's because well, it's the same thing with Disney's modern film today. That's because they all, even though they're made by different writers, the movies always have the same animation directors and art directors and stuff like that.
Aren't a couple of them still with Disney for like decades?
No, not at this point. Even
I think there might be one. There might be one or two, but that's about it. I think.
Maybe, but most of them are new at this point. I think it's Eric Goldberg who's the only one of the hand-drawn animators who's still working at Disney at this point.
Depends.
He
I'll need to look
probably
into it.
just draws the characters so the 3D animators.
For example, he did the hand-drawn animation for Minnie Maui in Moana.
I have a name, you know.
Yeah,
Anyway,
small
let me
one.
check. The boy seems to be voiced by Sean Marshall. Check what he did. Oh, he did the voice of Pete for Pete's Dragon. Weird.
So basically, he was a Disney go-to kid at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Also, what do you mean the voice? Pete's Dragon was a live-action affair.
True. only the dragon was animated.
Yeah, I fucked up. My bad.
So yeah, the boy is intentionally taking out all the heavier sticks to make it easier on the small.
And it still needs some work.
Yeah, what the fuck is he doing?
That little bit of the song there, because I have
Oh,
to have
no.
I have to have the volume down a bit on the video. For a second, I thought they were trying to do. They're going to start Santa Claus is coming to town.
I forgot if you ever told me, Pedro, but was Don Bluth involved with the original, the first Winnie Pooh animated movie?
I think so. I'll have to check the credits. The first film he worked on for Disney was Sleeping Beauty.
And
That
what
I
was the
know.
last one?
Fox and the Hound.
Alright.
Oh, okay.
He left mid production.
Yeah.
Those always important people leaving mid production. That always turns out well.
Honestly, it
Well,
worked out
Fox and the
fine
Hound
for Fox and
turned
the
out
Hound.
well, still.
Yeah.
Fox and the Hound is great. So
That was
It's been a while
also
since I've
directed
seen-
by Richard Rich.
Well,
It's the,
well,
but
that's the thing
it's
with-
the sequel that sucks. Don't worry.
that's
Well, that's and also that's the thing, Tio. That's the one I've seen the most recently.
Hold on, this is important.
Hold on. Oh no.
Oh, give his father credit. He's not one of those people who's malicious about selling him, at least.
No, it's not like I'm going to sell the monkey and be rich. No, that's the monkey.
Like
the
you
donkey,
said,
the
he can
donkey
no
and be
longer,
rich.
like you said, he can no longer pay for what he eats. So.
Yeah. That too.
Thank God glue factories weren't made yet.
That was for horses.
Well, you'd be surprised, Roy. Sometimes they throw a donkey in.
Yeah, that's actually one other thing that I remember. Like those shots with the boy, they reminded me of something. But when I got it, it's very similar to how Mowgli was animated for the Jungle
Yeah,
Book.
like
Yeah,
I
it's-
like I
Yeah,
said, it
me and
was-
Jover pointed out the similarity.
My bad.
Yeah, that's remember that this was still back in the day where Disney
It was
sometimes
the
reused
dark
and
age.
animations
Yeah.
when to cut down on costs. So later on, there's going to be a reused animation from Sword in the Stone.
I mean, not
okay.
that there's anything
Well,
wrong
no,
with
in this
reusing
case-
certain
in this
character
case, I was
models here
talking
and
more of-
there.
In this case, I was talking more of a similar art style, similar to how some character in Atlantis look like characters from the Rescuers Down Under. You know.
Sure, no, that's okay, Joe. It's more so when they reuse flat out animation.
Yeah, like in Robin Hood, that
Yeah.
one is a major culprit.
Don't get me wrong, I love that movie, but it can be a bit awkward when. Oh, look, I remember this movement.
Oh,
You know what? Every time I see these Disney 2D animations, I know it's extremely minor, but I'm always thrown off by seeing the Buena Vista logo. I keep thinking that the Blue Castle Disney one's gonna show up at the beginning, but
This was before the blue castle logo was made. This was
You mean the
back in
CGI
1978.
one?
oh yeah, I remember. I don't think they did the Blue Castle one till the mid '80s.
Yeah.
this was 1978, I think.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to guess now that they're gonna run away and make sure that he's never sold to
Totally.
anybody.
No, he's just gonna sell
It
the
would-
donkey.
It
like he
wouldn't
said.
really do much, honestly. I mean, if he just lets him go, then, well, he's gone, but they're more poor. Like, it makes sense to sell him, and at that rate, sell him to a good home, at least.
Imagine that.
Yeah,
being
you
the
can
ending.
tell this
And
is
so they
rather.
wrote
I can
about
already
it
tell
just-
this is a bit unconventional for Disney standard. It was still the sort of the period where we will play, a story straight, sort of. If there was like an adaptation or telling a type of moral. So, the scenario that Wibbs described, that would have been probably a typical more for a Disney movie of this time.
Well, that's the end of the movie. Oh, all right.
But it still begs the question: where are we?
That's a good
Town.
question, Tio, but we may have to wait and see on that.
Well,
Okay.
The time period and setting will be revealed to us at the end.
Oh, hello.
I love this guy.
Thanks, Marius.
Wait for it.
What the hell is it?
Why did you make the Centurion evil?
Oh, that was just the welcoming laugh of welcome.
Like,
I'm sorry, I have to do that every 10 minutes.
Completely ignoring the fact that would echo through the tunnels for everyone to fucking hear.
Yeah, it's like, oh my god, I live in a nightmare town.
Remember, Teo, the Romans were the evil invaders at the time.
So Jova's right, this donkey is going to the glue factory.
But glue hasn't been invented yet, so what do they do instead?
You'll be surprised, with collagen substances were very common even in ancient times.
Also, Teo, around this time, Marius was away trying to kidnap that woman that I forgot her name because she's not memorable.
Bodica.
That's it.
Are you sure it was at this time, or was it the time when he was taking on his whole Batman persona? I mean, oh, sorry,
Oh my God.
Damocles.
Why everyone has to be this sinister this day?
Well, he's not a bad person. You'll see.
That's a dumb name.
Mate, even if I wouldn't touch him with the knife, that makes you come off even more shifty.
Yeah, he's
Now it makes a lot of sense why we accompany this with Pinocchio.
Wait,
Not
wait.
just that,
Apparently, sorry.
he's the tanner. He wants his skin to turn him into leather, basically.
Wait, apparently Richard Rich even did the
Well, it's his,
music.
well,
Or
it
was one of
doesn't
the
make him evil
composers?
though. It's his fucking job.
Yeah,
They're,
Yeah,
they're
I was-
only doing it like this because, to the kid, this is evil.
yeah.
Well, Richard Rich even did one of the songs. Partly did one of the songs himself.
Yeah, the merchant song. Yeah, it's actually my least favorite song, and I can see now why.
Yeah,
Because he made
Richard
it.
Rich is not a composer.
Not just that, Webbs. He's a flat out untalented filmmaker in general. I don't.
Yeah,
I don't. I
I think that's a
personally,
little too extreme.
but,
I wouldn't say
Okay.
he's untalented.
Well,
He-
Jova, can you tell us,
What
why
good
do you think so?
what good movies has he made? I mean, the first half in Omega, he was
Fox
only
and
the
the
producer,
Hound.
but he was only an animator on that.
No, wasn't he the
wasn't-
direct lead on that?
No, he was only an animator on that.
Let me see.
Oh, hold on.
He's a good animator. I'll give him that. But
Well, yeah, I mean, there you go. I mean, to say he's untalented is too
He
extreme.
directed for
Yeah, did
Disney.
everyone steal from each other?
For Disney, he was a director on Fox and the Hound.
Oh,
Winnie the
so he
Pooh
was
and
a
Day for-
director.
Hang on.
oh,
Winnie
okay.
the Pooh and a Day for Eeyore, Mickey's Christmas Carol, and The Black Cauldron.
Oh, Mickey's Christmas Carol. There you go.
All right then. In that case, I have no idea what the hell happened to him after he left Disney. Because
Old age.
The same thing that happened to Don Bluth in the 90s, I guess.
I guess.
Thank God Don Bluth at least.
Also,
Oh.
nice. Everyone steals from everywhere.
You will never find a more wretched hive of scum and villainy.
Joe, what are you talking about? We found one the previous year.
Also, Joe, I still don't know, but I'm pretty sure this is not Tunisia.
Remember, Joe, the Star Wars came out the previous year, so we already did find one.
Oh, I recognize that voice. He's in a lot of Disney stuff, including their theme park rides.
Regardless, I can definitely say that I don't care for his, like, as far as I'm aware, this is the only song he's wrote. I don't know if he wrote any songs for the Swan Princess stuff.
Well,
But,
knowing our luck, he probably has. Let me check.
well, judging just this song in particular, this is by far the weakest song to me. It just doesn't. There's no real purpose to this song. It's just the merchants singing.
And
just
not just that,
because.
the boy is trying to hijack it with his own main theme.
Wow, the song is so average that someone else is just trying to take
Nope.
it over.
Oh my God, he was.
It's like
wait.
the original, like the opening credits song. Of course, it was to accompany the opening credits. The song that the boy was sang earlier, that was because
Very golden.
it was meant
You're
to be
saying-
a little emotional moment between the two. The merchant song, I have no idea what the hell its purpose is. It's
You're
just,
saying,
I guess,
Java?
I guess to be funny and eccentric, but
You're saying, Jova?
Oh my God, he was a producer for the Happily Never After films.
oh, goody.
Oh, you've seen
Anyway,
I have
those?
no idea what are those.
I've heard things.
Oh,
Um,
Tio.
I'll
Let's-
check after this anyway.
Let's just say, Tio, future commentary projects.
Joyful.
Basically, Happily Never After is what I expected that Snow White Happily Ever After movie would be, but that movie actually turned out to be decent.
Again, I still have no real understanding of what is like. I'm guessing they're supposed to be the comic relief characters, but they're not really funny. They're just bizarre.
We're also representing against the corruption that there is here, the city.
I guess. Oh yeah, I might as well mention something. You know how one of the lyrics of the song is "We'll work a little harder if we can." Basically, the original lyrics was actually "We'll even cheat a bit if we have to." However, because Jewish stereotypes was a problem, apparently they decided to edit that line for the 2005 DVD release, and that's.
I
the
mean,
version
we
that's been
already
around since then.
we already see thievery and bagels. I'm pretty sure we have all the checklists here.
There was another censorship edit made at the end, but I'll bring it up when we get there. Hopefully, when this gets released on Disney Plus, it will be the uncensored version.
Yay! Congratulations.
Whoa. You've got 60 of something.
Golden, silver coins. Apparently, back
I
then
get-
the currency was just coins, not
Because
any.
again, no, technically speaking, since I guess it was a Roman province at the time, it should have been sestertius, like I said in Arise of Rome. But in order to make things simpler, they just made silver and gold. So I'm pretty sure that the Hebrews actually had their own coinage beforehand, but I don't know. How dare you?
I call him Small One. He's truly strong.
He's trying to use pint-sized powerhouse on him.
Everyone pointed him and laughed.
Nothing will ever amount to that donkey.
See, that laughing animation was reused from Sword in the Stone.
Yeah.
There's gonna be another one
Oh.
in a bit. There you go. Yeah, the one with the guy pointing. That's also.
Yeah, I remember that one.
What's
Kick him.
what's wrong with the tip of his tail there?
I guess it wasn't cleaned.
I guess it's because he's old. There you go, Shiro.
What? Oh, yeah.
Well, you had that coming.
Well, we're back to square one, I guess.
Do we have
Okay.
this weird psyche aside?
Yeah,
Let's
that's
move on.
that's another recycle from Sword in the Stone or Jungle Book, I think. No, Utas.
Okay,
So,
so
yeah.
we got nowhere to sell.
So
What
yeah,
to do?
that begs the question, guys. Whatever shall we do?
And then they died. Da, 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 da.
That would be a really dark ending, and I don't think Disney would allow Don Bluth to
Since
do
when's
that.
Disney not shied away from being dark?
Well,
True,
here's
he
the thing.
does have a point.
No, I do not, Wes, but we've never had a Disney story where the main character dies at the end.
Also, you can tell. Well, besides, was before, and it was also before Don Bluth started to do things on his own.
Also, Pirates of the
Sorry, I
Caribbean.
meant shied away, not shied away. That doesn't make
Also,
any
Pirates of
sense.
the Caribbean Dead Man's Chest is a thing.
Well, that was way too long. I think this was trying to compare products of this time, which the Cauldron did some dark stuff.
Yeah, plus Bambi's
Oh, yeah,
mom
that
and all
too.
that.
Oh, yeah, Bambi's mom. Also, did they do... Oh, wait, no, that was probably later.
No, I mean I mean something like I can look. What if Bambi died? Like that's the kind of darkness. That
More
I'm
like,
talking about.
or more like, what if we did what we did eventually for Lion King and show actually the corpse of Bambi's mother? You know.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
at least it's not raining.
So it looks like only a miracle can save them.
The miracle never happened.
A Christmas
it-
miracle.
No.
if this were from like another animation studio,
Get your saccharine out of here.
if this were from another animation studio, they'd probably eat the donkey. It's like we got nothing else to eat.
Oh.
Hold on, there's.
Bethlehem, you say?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know?
It's exactly what I came to get.
Yeah, that'll
Pretty
keep
much,
us fed for 2 days.
He just needed to have one in an honest way.
What are they going to buy with that? Peas?
Oh, apparently 1 silver piece was what his dad wanted him to get
Yeah.
it for.
Remember, money was
A silver
worth
coin.
more at that point.
Yeah, that's what the dad said. I'm gonna sell him. We should give a silver coin.
And then he gets back.
There you go. Mission accomplished.
And then he gets back, and the dad's like, "You idiot! I meant silver coin as a figure of speech. I didn't mean literally get one."
You should have been more specific.
And there you go. He got his ear up. There you go.
Yay! He looks happy.
Oh, and I'm sure he's going to become quite famous.
Of course, the motif.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There
just
you go.
don't.
And now in classic old-fashioned Disney tradition, we have the main theme with this time staying with a choir, of course.
Of course.
But of course.
Hmm.
And we fade into the dark, starry sky.
So technically, it was a Christmas miracle.
Yeah,
The
see, look, it's got
original
the
Christmas
it's got
miracle.
How bizarre.
It's got the star over Bethlehem and all.
Boy, howdy, I can't wait for this to show up in a Kingdom Hearts game.
Well, it's funny, Tio, because, well, yeah, actually, that is possible. I mean, and Jesus Christ is about
But
to become
still, okay, now those are my final thoughts for this.
All right. One thing I'll also have to add. The other censorship edit that I mentioned is that do you notice the star? Well, in the original version that released in theaters, because this movie never released on VHS for the record, not even in beta. It was only first home video released on DVD in 2005, and it had to wait for the Christmas Carol release in order to be a side dish to it, like I said. But anyway, in the original theatrical release, the star, the design of that star was a little different. It still looked like a star, but it was shaped a bit more like a cross, because of the whole, Christianity thing. However, I guess to not offend any non-Christians, the DVD release, they changed the design of the star so that it looks just like a star and there's less similarity to a cross. Again, it's the whole difference in the things, I guess, from the time that this was released. I'm still hoping that maybe one day we'll be able to see the uncensored version as Don Bluth intended on Disney Plus. Hopefully.
If the reason Disney considered this potentially still quote unquote problematic because of the Jewish stereotypes that you see throughout, maybe you can put it on I think it's Hulu, the place where they put the adult material.
Well, here's the thing too. Dumbo is still there on Disney Plus, completely untouched. So
weird then.
So
I guess it's similar to I forgot what it's called, the Dead Hour movie that was never released outside of VHS. Whatever.
I mean, if we can have African American stereotypes, why can't we have Jewish stereotypes?
Yeah, I really guess Disney just has a weird policy of what they consider the censorship worthy or not at this point. But anyway, final thoughts.
Final thoughts too, since you were the one who were curious.
Yeah, sure. Honestly, I wasn't disappointed. You can clearly see that this is a raw product smack dab in the middle of the dark age of animation. and unfortunately, is what detracts him. But honestly, the passion and the idea behind it is all there. I can totally see it. I do wonder if it was originally conceived just as a short, or maybe it was supposed to be a bigger project, but was reduced.
It's based on a short book, but from what I've been able to tell, no, this is basically just how the story is. It was a short book, so it fitted better in a 25-minute feature.
This was nice enough. Again, it tells a simple story. It sells you on what it wants to tell you. This friendship that this boy has with the donkey. They clearly sell on that argument. They showcase you all. I guess in this case it's Jerusalem. Or what? No, my bad. We were going to Bethlehem, so it wasn't too far from that. But whatever. Jewish city was full of corruption, I guess, to reflect the time that supposedly, the evil before Jesus came in. I guess that was the idea. But no, honestly, everything is nice here. Even the weird bit, even the bit with the centurion feels like a classic Disney big-lipped alligator moment. Just evilly laughs for no reason. But no, yeah, this was actually very nice. And last thing before I mention, I honestly say that this is also for the being a religious product, it's actually very elegant how we tackled it. It's just, I guess you can clearly imagine that from the beginning, but the way it's presented at the end, it's a bit more subtle in that kind of sense. And as someone who actually had to grow up by having teachings of all the New Testament and all, it's kind of weird to actually see a product giving mostly screen time just to Joseph, because if you know anything about the history of the New Testament, Joseph gets shafted big time. So it's it's surreal seeing, of all people, Disney doing him justice.
The only possible verse in the song that really that maybe it's the whole because as the song says, like, there's a place for each small one, God planned it that way. But even that, I would argue,
a couple of other songs. Besides, a couple of other songs around those decades were also containing verses like that.
Hold on. So according to the song, God planned for the kid to be scared to death, for the donkey to have that fat, heavy guy on him for no interesting. I guess God really does work in mysterious ways. But no. Outside of that, the only thing that they say this entire thing was planned by God. Well, it reinforces the message that I don't see it so much like a thing. For me, I see it the moral to me is more akin to, regardless of what you are, regardless of how old you are, regardless of how useless you may seem to others or some people, there's always some way you can be useful. Regardless of that, that's the message I got out of it.
You can also interpret potentially that no matter how much to how much evil you're exposed, there's still probably someone that that is you will probably find eventually someone with actual good intentions in your life. You can also take that for value. But anyway, I'm pretty much done. Honestly, yeah, this was very nice. I too wish it was re-released.
Right? Yeah, this was this is a nice little animation feature pick. It definitely fulfills its job of being a nice featurette movie that comes before a feature-length film. Yeah, I liked it. Everything's pretty much on point for the most part. Animation, of course, it's Don Bluth in his prime of sorts. The direction seems fine. Like Theo said, it's nice to see Joseph not get the shaft for once. Surprising as it is, it's a nice moral it teaches here and there. There's something for everyone here, religious or not. I enjoyed it.
Shuri.
It was nice. I mean, it's a really sweet Christmas short. Stereotyping aside, it's actually very enjoyable. It's an interesting way to approach a portion of, the specific story this ended up being a part of. I liked it.
Well, sure, as we all know, I mean, if there's one character from the nativity that needed to be expended upon, and we get flashed out with a full-blown backstory.
It
It's
was
the
a little
donkey.
donkey.
You'd be surprised.
I
No,
mean,
no,
of
do
all
you
the
know-
characters,
you
of
know-
all the
Just your
characters,
name,
You'd be
John.
surprised. There are actually quite a few film companies that have focused on the donkey.
There's one
Including
on a
Rankin
TBT
Boss.
story.
Wasn't there like a CG animated one a few years ago that was just not very good?
Yes, made by Sony.
Oh, thank
Oh.
But I will have something to say about after we're done. Go on, Shiro.
I don't know. I'm done. This is just nice.
Lives?
I liked it. That's about all I can say.
Well, okay, go on.
It's what you guys said, pretty much.
Okay. Pedro?
yeah, it's still it's to me it's a Christmas classic. It really is great to just watch. It's something that I always watch every Christmas, just because of my nostalgia for it. Because the interesting thing is that even though it wasn't released on VHS, it actually has aired on TV quite a few number of times over the years, particularly during Christmas. And I actually happened to catch it back when I was a kid, back when it aired on TV. I don't even remember which specific year it was. It's been so long. But at the time, it was the Brazilian version that I watched originally. But yeah, no, it's a very sweet Christmas little story that tells a really good moral and is told with a lot of. It's a simple story, but told with a lot of heart, and it's just so well animated. In particular, I mean, obviously they have to cut some corners with the reused animation in certain shots, but Don Bluth did the best he could with what he had, and he still pulled off a really nice looking short. So yeah, yes, Jova.
A bit of a tidbit. You wanted to know what other stuff Richard Rich did music for. He was also the music composer for The Fox and the Hound and Mickey's Christmas Carol.
Can someone explain to me why the hell when he left Disney, did he leave his talent there too? Did he forget to
Yeah,
take his
those
talent
have
with
good
him?
soundtracks.
So basically, if I understood correctly, when he left Disney, he just forgot to take his talent with him. And
I guess so. I mean, at least Don Bluth remembered his talent eventually.
For a while.
Well, he did remember right from the beginning. The problem is that he forgot about it in the 90s. But anyway,
His talent is an asset of the mouse club.
although to be fair, there were a lot of behind-the-scenes trouble and executive meddling with his 90s movies as well. So to be fair, there was also it wasn't entirely his fault. Although he does take blame. Don't get me wrong, but he doesn't take all of it. But
Okay.
anyway, it's one of those things where I don't understand it. I really don't. To finish what I was saying, that's the thing, Dwebs. When Don Bluth and his team left Fox and the Hound, the original movie, they were replaced by the animators that later went on to be the primary animators for the 90s Renaissance Disney movies, like Eric Goldberg, Don Hahn, and stuff like that. Mark Hand and stuff like that. But anyway, yeah. Yeah, it's a really good short. Again, it's such a sweet short. Again, a lot of people like to talk about Mickey's Christmas Carol, and don't get me wrong, it's a great short. However, I feel that this one gets shafted way too much.
What a shame.
Well, it aired on TV in my country various times. I don't know if it aired
I
on yours.
don't know. I'm gonna check on my own.
From what I've been able to see, yeah, I'm seeing here on the Wikipedia. Apparently, both Ireland and the UK have had it aired on TV plenty of times, apparently, according to Wikipedia. So it became kind of more like a TV special tale. And for a long time, it was considered a TV special. So it only aired on TV, from what I'm seeing here. Yeah, so basically it's a really good TV special, and that's about it for the small one. I hope you enjoyed it, because that's about all the good Christmas stuff I have for you, because my next stuff in the queue, Jova, by all means tell, because I don't have the heart to tell them.
Well, folks, as
speaking
you
of
know,
Richard
this
Rich.
was a featurette, of course, so in the spirit of it, why not make it a featurette to Pedro's real Christmas pick? Another movie made by Richard Rich, and one you may sadly be more familiar with, if only because this movie probably has more coverage than the small one did. I am, of course, talking about the revival of the Swan Princess series. Yeah, that's right, the story did not end in 1998, but it continued in 2012. There
So
was
if we get-
nothing in between them in those 14 years.
Considering
God
the
Christ.
bizarreness that happened by the end of the third movie, I really do wonder what's the direction we're gonna
I
take.
get.
Basically,
I-
folks, tune in for 2012's
Teo.
The Swan Princess Christmas.
Yeah,
Hey, Teo, maybe God planned it this way. I don't know.
of course.
Hey.
See ya.
Anyway, see ya.
See ya.
Yeah.